We forget that life is available only in the present moment. The Buddha said, "Is it possible to live happily in the present movement? It is the only moment we have."
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I have, for whatever reason, just in this moment, lost my screen. So I'm going to keep working with that. And I don't think you all can see me, but that's not most important. There's just some weird little glitchy thing happening. So let's not get stuck there. So that was by Thich Nhat Hanh, by the way. And I love Thai in his simplicity. And there is something then that I wrote recently to someone, and I want to talk about that more after our practice. And that is this: there is liberation in not holding oneself as the central axis of the world, and yet as an essential part of the whole. Okay, so I want us to hang on to that idea. There is liberation in not holding ourselves as the central axis, as the only thing that matters, and yet as an essential, truly part of the whole. And then this from the Diamond Sutra. We, while we were studying the Bardos, we read a chant of this, and I'm going to rephrase from the Diamond Sutra itself. And I don't know if you guys can see this on the bottom, but I'll repost here in the hopes that you can. Here it is. Thus, should you consider your life like a tiny drop of dew, a bubble floating in a stream, like a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, or a flickering lamp, an illusion, a phantom, or a dream. How do we hold the self in the reality of that impermanence, also that dependence? We are reliant on everything else, and also it. The truth is, this whole life also relies on us. And so with that, let's get ready to practice. Carrie, I see that you're on. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. If you could watch for just a few moments as we prepare to sit, that would be wonderful. I'm going to stop that share for now. So seeing if we can feel the urgency. Really, can you feel it? The urgency of this present moment life calling us. There is only this, said Thich Nhat Hanh. There is only one moment for any possibility, for happiness, for freedom, for connection, and that is this one. And then how do we show up for it? How do we show up for this? How do we hold ourselves with the truth of the preciousness of this human life, with the truth of impermanence, and that there is only this moment, this flash, this bubble, that it is all both an illusion, but not fall into this nihilism we were talking about, where nothing matters, and not believing that the only thing that matters is the storyline of me. And so we begin by letting go. This is the beginning of the practice. We let go of the thinking mind. We let go of this craving, hungry, ever-seeking body. And we settle back. We remember that the only thing we will own in this lifetime are the consequences of our actions. lived out throughout all time, including this moment and this practice. So we dedicate the good fortune, we dedicate the wealth, we dedicate the blessing, whatever it is, this moment, the moment before, and the moment after. We dedicate this to the end of suffering and the realization for true abiding happiness and freedom, that liberation that I'm talking about, the one that comes with recognizing oneself as simply dust and ash, and also as if the whole world was created for you. They are equally true. So, how do we practice? May we call to mind all those others in this world also experiencing the noble truth of suffering and the noble truth of the path to its end. May we practice thus. So we begin to slowly unhook ourselves from this ever spinning, self making mind by finding an object. We'll start in the body, where we can simply and directly experience life. No narrative, no fiction writing, no requirements for thinking at all. See if we can drop into the body, taking a big in breath to begin, just breathing in. Dropping the breath, inviting the mind home to the body, and seeing where the mind goes. And resting your attention there for some time. And even in the stillness, resting in the silence, we feel the truth of life pulsing, expanding and contracting right through us. An essential part of the whole, and nothing to think about. With each out breath, let go of all the ideas of who you think you are. Drop into the body, feeling it directly, urgently. Remember, there is only this one breath. As the mind falls into thinking, there will be suffering. You can always come home. in moments of judgment, criticism, cynicism, aggression, greed, we can believe we are nothing. And this is completely false. We have been gifted this precious human life. Breathe it fully in. And as well, it is not only ours to keep. And so we practice this letting go, this opening into that which is larger, bigger, more open, more spacious, more boundless. We unhook the story of me with each out breath into the vast and greater reality. Part of something so much bigger than this small-minded idea of me. Being breathed right through you. And so then, how do you breathe? With full attention, complete presence, an essential kindness and compassion in knowing the truth. There is only this. And in this letting go, there is complete liberation and freedom. No longer caught in the small vacuum mind of me, where there is only suffering, only distress, only confusion. But we can awaken any moment, this one, to the enormity of this human life. Bigger, more unfathomable than any mind could hold. And so we let go of that mind to come into the breath itself. And for most of us, about this time in the practice, we can feel the struggle. And it's perfect. The thinking mind wanting its way. And we smile at the recognition, a form of liberation itself. And we come right back, fully embodied right here in the breath. How we think it should be, how we wanted it to be, how afraid it will be. Breathe it all out, put it all down. There's a willing exchange here. I'm going to let go of the thinking so that I can actually be present. Each breath, a dewdrop, a lightning bolt, a bubble in a stream. Each moment, a flicker of a lamp. This is the truth of this self-made, self-created me. Cannot be held, cannot be sustained. See if we can simply let it go. We breathe in and make contact with the phenomenal truth, the truth of the present moment and its conditions. And we breathe out, create space. We open to include, but not grab, not grip, not tighten around. We let it arise and pass. Liberation is in the release, not in the clinging. And it is also in this being fully awake, fully present, fully embodied, life this moment as it is. We still the body and we still the mind. No gripping, no grabbing, no pushing away. With each breath, unconditional friendliness, opening to it all. And at the end of the out breath, rather than keeping the breath, holding it into oneself, or holding the breath, a little bit of a habit of the ego clinging mind, we release it. We let it move out into that vast and open space. Rest the mind there. And as we rest in that open space, the consciousness expands. We can actually look back at the self and see that it too, all the imaginings, all the thoughts, all the beliefs are simply a part of the dream. Not you, not permanent. Nothing to hang on to. All the thoughts that have come before, merely dust. Can we feel the truth of life in that loving presence, beating through and all around us? Vast and infinite holding space of the present moment. And you in it. Each breath is a wave in the ocean. with each out breath becoming more of the ocean. This is the path to the end of suffering, to true liberation and happiness. If we are only that small self, that one breath, that birthing and dying every moment, we die a billion deaths and suffer. But can we die into the larger, bigger, more infinite, more open, more spacious reality of who we are? With each breath opening, widening and deepening. No longer me, mine, or I at all. We see its shackles and rest back in the infinite space. Can we feel that expanse and that freedom as we rest in that stillness, that silence, and that open space? All of it a part of the whole. Joy and the sorrow, the confusion and the wisdom. The fear and the bravery. All right here. And as we rest in that open space, we can abide then whatever arises. That loneliness, that overwhelm. We can feel it completely and not be carried away. Not me, not mine, not I. A momentary flicker of life. And then the ideas of I am nothing or I am everything, they're both irrelevant. There is only the truth of this moment, experienced like this. Informing us of the truth of this human life. So make direct contact, join it completely. See what it has to teach us. Breathe it all the way in. Breathe it all the way out. And then we can see that in each moment, whatever it is can be held and known and released. And then held and released. Life is neither nothing or completely overwhelming as we live it one breath at a time. And in this open, spacious, luminous, awakened heart-mind, we remember the cause of suffering, and we see the way to its end. And as we recollect the cause of suffering, we feel compassion for ourselves and others as we get caught in the grip. As we buy into the delusion of separateness, of disconnect, of aloneness. But with a few minutes of practice, we remember. The infinite sources of connection, of refuge, of belonging, of presence. And we breathe with ease. In the midst of it all, and for the last moments, let's let the body see if it can't soften into the open space in which the mind has placed itself upon, dissolving the tensions, the tightness, the grip, the holding back, the shutting down. Let it all dissolve into that vast open space. Remembering your true nature. You are not the failure. You are not the success. You are more. Can we surrender one small identity for the truth? And rest in that. And as we rest, one breath at a time, we remember that all is well. Whatever the conditions, of this present moment. A bubble, a flash, a flicker of the lamp, a dewdrop, a bubble in the stream, a lightning bolt, a thunder crash, and me. And may this practice be of benefit. Taking a moment to do a moment of stretch. I'm going to see if I can click out quickly, and then I'm going to click back in. Carrie, since you're co-host, I'm hoping that means that I won't lose the group. Maybe I can make you host. Maybe that's a option.
Yeah, make me host, and then I can, then it won't quit the whole thing.
Okay. I'm going to try to get out and come back in. Take a break, everyone. Do a little bit of stretching. I can't get out. So it's not working, whatever the oddity of the current moment. I made my best attempt at that. I want to talk about this practice and what you understand the benefits or the value or the challenges of the practice might actually be. And I want to talk about where we mistake true liberation, true relief, true happiness for the realities of where we find it. I want to see if we get some conversation about that going. So just drop in and let me know what you noticed in this practice as we were doing it this morning. Check in and say hello. So I trust you're there. Hello, someone? I hear you.
This is Marie.
Hi, Marie. How are you?
I'm really grateful. This is perfect timing for what I needed, which is why I tapped in, and I realized that I'm thinking almost all the time, and therefore it's difficult to actually be present.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good insight, isn't it? Yeah, we aren't actually doing, we can only do one thing in a moment. And often we think we're being present, but we're thinking about being present, which is actually not the same. So that's a very deep insight. Good for you. And really what I want you to most know is that where the truth of suffering and the release from suffering is. And they are in vastly two different places. The thinking will never free us. And we all wish it would. And has anybody figured out yet that it just never does? And we keep trying, like, this time I'm going to have the right thought. This is the one. I've got it now. I'm smarter, wiser. Something. No, it's still thinking, and recognizing thinking as thinking is beautiful. So, that is the path to liberation, actually, Marie. Knowing thinking is half the way home. And then can we settle and stabilize the mind? This is the second. Can we just then be, allowing ourselves to be? You know what's so terrifying about being? Anybody have that figured out? What's the reason? Terrified. Takes infinite bravery to be
Well, I
present.
guess I have to accept what the current conditions are, which I might
Yeah.
not really be appreciating.
Yeah, I may not actually like the truth that there is pleasant and unpleasant in this life. There is loss and gain. There is fame and ill repute, right? This is all the truth. And I'm going like, no, I only want half that story. So I'd rather make it up, folks, right? I'd rather make it up. I'd rather just spin that around in my own mind as if it'll all be just fine, right? And no, it is not actually the path. There is nothing to think that will free us. There is the practice, there is being present, there is dropping in as it is. And here's my promise to you that you are fully equipped to be with. You have what you need for whatever is arising. It is mostly a quality of mind. Can you see it as a quality of mind rather than the essential truth of your stinky life or of your perfect life? And then, as my teacher would say, life perfect as it is, the only teacher. Yes, Andy writes, before tea, I am nihilistic, nothing. After tea, I am grandiose. After practice, I am a tea leaf in the vast field of all the fields. Beautiful. Isn't it true? When we are empty, we are fearful that we need more to be full. And when we are full, we notice we needed nothing but our own heart mind. The presence of ourselves towards ourselves. How simple and terrifying. It's true. And we complicate it, don't we all? What else do you notice?
Hi, Diana.
Hi, who's this?
Leslie.
Leslie, hi. Good morning.
Good evening. The words, I can get so trapped by realizations in words and thinking they're truth. And it's really takes me away from just being in the boring present. You know, just the present, I say boring in terms of just that there's nothing, it's not the excitement that the mind offers you or the emotions even. It's just the stillness. And then letting go into the stillness and letting that be all that's necessary.
Yes. Yeah, isn't it true? And this is its simplicity. And we need this I need this practice. Let me rephrase. I need this practice because I can buy in to my bull. I can get caught in that spin. I can believe it's nothing. In fact, this week, I have to tell you honestly, I had some thoughts, and here they were, having nothing to do with the truth, but my buying in. You know, maybe I shouldn't teach anymore. Maybe there's really no point. Maybe there's all these great teachers in all the world. They're easy to access. Really, am I doing anything of benefit for anyone? Maybe I should just go plant a garden. And now, by the way, not true or not true, it's not even the point. The point is the identity got shrink wrapped around those thoughts. This is a good thing to notice. Shrink-wrapped mind around the belief thoughts that I am everything or nothing, right? A problem. Grandiosity, arrogance, comfort, identity development on one side. What's on the other side? Nihilistic, nothing, pointless, meaningless, lonely, disconnected, and no less grandiose and no less true. Right? I am everything, I am nothing. So the story I wanted to tell you, and Leslie, you might appreciate this. I don't know if any of you from the Jewish tradition know this story, but it was a rabbi in the early 18th century, and I can't remember his name. I wish I could, I apologize for that. But he wrote a whole sermon really on having two pieces of paper. And in one pocket, you had on this piece of paper, I am only dust and ash. And you've heard me, I talked about it earlier. And in the other pocket, you had the world was created for me. And the skill in the life would be knowing which pocket to put your hand in any moment. Now, I'm going to frame that slightly differently, which is there is only one piece of paper, and we are all a part of that. And on that one piece of paper, it's blank. And in the blankness, there are two truths. The middle way, I am nothing and I am everything. And they are both true. Now, the truth is for me how to live them in each moment, each being true. How not to get caught up in this small-minded self and remember who we really are and not get caught on the other side, believing that we alone, that we are independent, that we hold this identity separate from everything. And I mean everything, including everyone, right? And of course, we know the beautiful poem, don't we, by Thich Nhat Hanh, right? That says, I am what? I am the pirate and the one who was raped by the pirate. I am the moth and the frog or snake who eats it, right? I am all of this and none. And none. How do we hold this identity and not mistake this thinking mind for who we really are. And there I was, 26 years of practice, teaching, going, maybe you're this, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you should just not bother. Maybe you'd be better planting onions in the yard. Maybe, now again, it isn't what's true or not true. It's the believed thoughts, isn't it? And look at where the mind is leaning. Look at where it's leaning, into that nihilistic frame. Can we see ourselves as we are in the wind, leaning this way and that, and not be caught? Not let the identity be caught by either. This is the practice. And I love this resting practice where really no thought serves. No thought will serve you. Who else? What else do you notice about this? Talk about what you know about loneliness, about overwhelm, about the mind that buys in.
Diana, this is Andy.
Hi, Andy.
I think it's a beautiful practice and always a timely practice. What I feel when I do this practice is always a sadness. And I feel it physically in my chest. And the reason I feel it is I have to let go. I have, and it's a sadness of letting go of a piece of my identity. And I have to do it over and over throughout the day.
Yeah.
And so it physically feels like sadness.
Yes.
But the other thing that always strikes me about this practice, maybe I should say even haunts me, is the wisdom that is told to us, and I believe it, although I don't know that I've experienced it, that all you leave in this life, all that goes on beyond you is the consequences of your own actions.
That's right.
And so, so to me, it's kind of a triad.
Yeah.
And I do toggle between nihilistic and arrogance, and sometimes remember to come back and open up and think to myself as I'm, in this practice going, this is my teacher. I am in the presence. Listen now, as I breathe in and breathe out.
Yes.
And anyway, I love the practice. I can't say as I understand it. That's all I got.
That's right. The good news is understanding from the mind, the small mind that chooses or wishes for understanding. The beauty is it is not needed. Isn't that delightful? Let it penetrate deeper, beyond the thinking mind, into the truth that you know, in that sorrow, and the sorrow of this fear we all have, I think, of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be, or who we want to be, or if only we were that, how much better we'd be, right? We do all of this, don't we? We glom onto conditions, all of us, including me. I haven't been practicing with the community, and look how quickly it took, a couple days to forget how important it all is. The practice, the Sangha, the truth of the Dharma. Right? Shrink wrapped by our own minds. And can we see thinking and know it simply as thinking, and not weight it this way or that? Thinking mind, not needing any more understanding than the understanding that is available this moment. That's it. There's nothing else to get. This is it. Thank you, Andy. Who else? What else do you know about this practice?
This is Lisa. I don't know why it came to me, but a saying came to me in the middle of the practice, and it's one that I thought I always really was inspired by, and it's actually Helen Keller. And the saying is, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. And it just kind of grabbed me in the middle of practice, and I thought, how often have I taken this really dual approach to my life?
Yes.
You know, that either these wonderful things are happening and I'm making some sort of huge difference, you know, talk about grandiose in the world, or I'm not really doing anything. You know, I'm not, and I was thinking about how these past months there have been so many moments that are so many places in between those two
Yes.
that have been really precious. They have not been adventures. They've been a bit of a slog, one, you know, where they've been painful. But somehow they're still very precious, you know, and I really lose sight of that because I can go into that. It isn't even nihilistic. It's just sort of a dual way of thinking about things and going good, bad, you know, rating it all in sort of extreme ways. And I thought, you know, I have to really rethink. Yes, it's wonderful to embrace life as an adventure, but, you know, the reality is it isn't always an adventure. And that doesn't mean it's not worthwhile.
That's right.
So
That's maybe the key, Lisa, right there. It doesn't mean it's pleasant. It doesn't mean it's easy. It's sometimes what I call essential spade work of being alive.
yeah.
Making bread, chopping wood, carrying water, right?
But it's easy to get lost in sort of the romance of a pithy saying, you know,
Yeah.
and reducing it all to that. And certainly that's not how it's all been.
And it is always a daring adventure because isn't it an adventure, really? Doesn't it take every ounce of bravery, as Andy was saying about sorrow and fear, and doesn't it take everything to truly show up to it all?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It takes everything. What does it take for Rick to show up to that loss of the job he was talking about, the dream job, the one he thought he had to have, that he believes he needs to be okay? We all do this. And right? And how can I be with this too? This takes infinite bravery and courage. And one step in front of the other, as you were just saying.
Mm-hmm.
One breath now and then now. Knowing nothing about how it's all going to work out.
And that is an adventure. It's a different kind of adventure.
It's not the one we're imagining because it doesn't have anything to do with Tahiti.
No.
That's the problem. It's not Tahiti. It's not the 4-carat diamond. It's not living on the top of the hill right over Pacific Palisades. It's not having all your bills paid and, you know, resting in the goodness. Because this is our fantasy. Then I will wake up. Then I'll show up to my life. Then I'll really be present. No, you won't. It's not true. It's not true. Leslie, you're on. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I did, and I didn't realize I was on, but I did. Thank you. Judgment. Today, I'm noticing that in the wanting to do good actions, judging, seeing myself in a situation, judging if it was the person who did something that was not skillful, or if it was me who did something that was unskillful. And oh my gosh, I saw that just in an effort to be responsible and to consciously evolve, it's so much work rather than dropping all of that and
That's right.
just being present with what is now.
That's right. It's a lot more suffering the other way. What should I do? How should I do it? What should they do? What's right? What's wrong? And again, all of these things ultimately are answered by presence, by showing up. And then we're not caught. This is the part I love. I am no longer caught in the identities of nothingness and everythingness. I no longer have to scaffold up anything. I simply abide in being. And what a relief it is. What a relief it is. Everything already enough, exactly as it is, because it already is that. right? Because it already is that. Andy, thank you so much. Carolyn, so nice to see you this morning also. I really wanted to do this practice this morning. Let me tell you why. We're going into a lot of shrink wrap mind moments with the holidays, don't we? The way the holidays should be, the way that I should be, the way that others should be towards me, the way that my family should be, distant or close, the way that, right, partners should be a certain way. The demand for being giving, loving, generous in a way that's a lot of thinking rather than simply being. And we get ourselves in trouble. And consequently, what does the Dharma say? You will suffer. You will suffer as a result. And I want us to all be conscious of these habits of mind and know that there is always the refuge of the open, spacious present moment in which to rest, right? This is why I wanted to do this practice today. Ryan, I think you're on. Good morning. I'd love to hear from you.
Oh, sorry about that.
Well, now you're here, so.
I'm
hello.
here, so now I messed up, so I better
Well, now
go
you got to
for
say
it now.
something, because there you are. And I love that you're there without expectation. Now, whatever's true is true.
Yeah. Well, selfishly, I just want to say, please don't stop teaching. Don't believe that self-limiting thought. I feel like everyone can attest that you bring so much value, and so grateful for you. Other than that, wow, there's been so many good insights this morning from everyone. Really letting that sink in and land in me. With Rick, the first thing he mentioned is I have just gone through the exact same thing, where I went for a job that I really thought I had a good shot at and was fully capable of getting. And it was interesting watching me go through the process of really feeling, and I've made this mistake a few other times, of really feeling like it's in the bag, like I got this.
Yes.
Like all
It's
these
mine.
reasons
It's
why I had it, and then it didn't happen again, and it was really interesting, kind of going through the motions of not feeling it, and then really having it hit me later, like wow, and how I just started weaving all these stories about it.
Yes.
And again, it just brings me back to the practice and the value of the practice, and kind of stepping back. And
Yes.
something that had came up for me was a quote that I heard on a podcast that I've heard a million times, and it's one of those Ojibwe sayings of, sometimes I go about in pity for myself, and all the while a great wind carries me across the sky. I think that is a good reminder to.
Can you write that, Ryan, in the chat, please?
Sure.
Would you?
I know it's something Jack Cornfield always
He does.
is repeating, and
He does.
man, I think nowadays it's really easy to pity ourselves, and it doesn't mean that it's not a hard moment to have that kind of knock you on your ass.
That's right.
That's how I felt about it. But wow, it's it's interesting having to build back and just kind of realize, there's a greater purpose, and maybe that not happening, and feeling gratitude for that,
Yes, when we can finally arrive, right? And what do we do in the spaces between? When you go, wait a minute, I'm not okay because I've only got blank in the bank. I've got to, do X, Y, or Z. I got to make the house payment. And we get caught easily and forget that, yes, we are also being held. We are a part of the essential flow and foam of it all, and carried by that essential wind, a part of which is you. You yourself are a part of that essential wind, by the way. Don't believe it is only something else. This is that dualistic thinking I want us all to be careful about, right? It is not just being held by something else. it is also requiring you, isn't it? If you don't show up, what's the possibility?
Diana, I also wanted to say one other thing. It's kind of a complete 180 was sometimes I like what I believe it was Lisa was saying about kind of romanticizing certain things in the practice.
Yes.
And I know when we close our eyes and we do this practice, close eyes, I just wanted to ask you, like, I've been recently trying to bring what I do when I close my eyes and go into that space with my eyes wide open. You know,
Yes.
I've realized that like it's not separate from, I think sometimes, at least me, I can separate what I do with the practice with my eyes closed and then
Yes.
kind of pop back when the eyes open. It's like, oh, back to business as normal. Like, how do we bring,
Yes.
I'd like to inquire about how you do it with eyes open in moments of transition, but bringing those elements of the practice while you're conscious and in the world.
Yes. That's, well, you know, the real practice is in the other 23 and a half hours. Isn't it? You know this. And so actually, many traditions, by the way, even all within a Buddhist frame, or actually the Tibetans, for example, always practice with their eyes open. It is only in some traditions, the Zen tradition, the Theravadan tradition, where they close the eyes for a brief time. And that is really to renounce the being caught by it all. Really, that's all. Not to eliminate life or the world or escape, right? We can get caught in these habits where it's got to be silent and it's got to be perfect and the temperature has to be perfect and I have to be perfectly comfortable and I close my eyes and I get my earmuffs on and then I got my best pillow with my best wool, right? And we're conditionalizing the practice, aren't we? We're saying, really, when I'm away from life, everything's fine. And that's not the intent at all. The intent of the closed eyes is first to direct the attention out of the eye consciousness into the mind consciousness. And then often opening your eyes, letting there just be a soft gaze, you won't see anything, actually. So that's part of the practice, is seeing everything, taking it all in, even as we are in the formal practice, and then moving from the cushion, of course, into what? Everyday spade work with the same consciousness, with the same cultivated quality of mind, with the same understanding that I am a contribution to this present moment, and it is not all about me, and that they are both as valid and true as the other. I am an essential contribution, and it is not all about me. And it's very hard for us to hold both, isn't it? You can feel the way we swing, even in the saying of it, from right side to, it's true, that's true. Wait, nope, this is true too. And we hold these as two separate realities when they are one. They are one reality. We are dust and ash, and the whole of the world was created for us. How do we live the two essential dharmas of the truth of this? Not as, and notice my own mind swinging back and forth. Oh, great Dharma talk. Oh, that was really, wow, I got it together that time. Oh gosh, I almost made sense when I was talking about this. And then the other, which is, this is pointless, go home, dig a hole, jump in, forget about it. Because this is the quality of mind. We all have these mind states. This isn't the point. That's not broken. Can you see what's happening? Can you see the quality of mind? And talk about eyes wide open. You really got to have your eyes wide open for that. And so the reason we close our eyes in the Theravadan and the Zen tradition is that it is the quality of mind that we want to see, that there is no object that is the point. It is the way we're relating to the object And so we close the eye door to say, no, there is no problem with the object. What is the quality of mind that is holding it? And so early in practice, for many of us, having the eye door closed is somewhat helpful towards seeing the quality of mind that is present. Do you get that? Does that make sense? It has nothing to do with eyes open or closed, though, does it? It has to do with how we can learn to access seeing our own quality of mind and mind state. That's what we're really looking at, aren't we? That's what we're looking at. So eyes open or closed, right? Eyes open or closed. Quality of mind is what we're looking. The quality of the open heart. When we're tipping, when we're falling into falsely believed thoughts, can we see the quality of mind? And if we don't practice, the truth is, if I don't practice resting back in the open, spacious mind to see all of that movement, I get caught and carried away. I get caught and carried away. And then there is only suffering. So, right, eyes open, eyes closed, standing, sitting, lying, and walking. What better moment to be awake than this one? And we know the answer, don't we? None. We're almost out of time. Is there anybody else who wants to say anything else before we go?
Diana,
Yes.
just really quick, I just want to say how just lovely it was that I had the patience today to be on Zoom with you.
Wonderful.
I've been getting so impatient with it, but it was so well worth it. So
Wonderful.
thank you so much.
Wonderful. Just recognize that impatience as the wanting something else and see if
Right.
you can stay with yourself. See if you can stay with you. This is not so much about being, I love that you're here and I want you to be with us, Robin, but it is about how to be with yourself, even in those moments of restlessness, of distress, of impatience, frustration. And for you, we know that maybe for you standing or walking while in
Right.
the practice can be a little bit helpful, right? Just moving.
Which I'm doing.
Yeah, moving the energy through.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
some way that's a little more rote than, now going into thinking about it.
Well,
I
thank
have
you
a-
so much.
I have
appreciate
a few cancer patients, by the way. I'll offer this one other technical tip, who unfortunately, the thoughts about the future, the thoughts about the past, the thoughts about life, and then do I get to keep it, or will my life end more quickly than I want? And there's so much movement in mind that the idea of stilling that, especially in these critical moments, is impossible. And so what we do together is breathe while lifting the hand on the in-breath and placing it on the out-breath, and stabilizing the mind with also that gentle sort of qigong, right? Just lifting two hands. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that we don't get trapped by this forced belief thought that I have to be still, or the forced belief thought that I have to, tether the mind to the breath, which is not the practice. But we buy into those belief thoughts, unfortunately, and cause ourselves distress, don't we?
Yes.
We cause ourselves distress. So impatience is impatience. It feels like it does. How can I be with that is really the practice. How can I be with myself with that experience? Momentary, one breath at a time, right? Is the truth.
Yep.
One breath. Wonderful to see you, Robin. Let's sit together for a moment. We will be practicing on Monday night. I will be doing a special meditation Monday evening at 7:30 as we prepare for the end of and the beginning of Holy Day. and holy days, both true always. And Tuesday morning we'll be here. We're going to be talking about the book. We will start in the new year on Tuesday at 7 a.m. The book, Real Change. We're going to go with that one first by Sharon Salzberg. We'll start the second Tuesday in the new year. I think that's something like the 12th. And if you don't have the book, go ahead and get it. Real Change by Sharon Salzberg. We're going to be going to a more difficult book after that, but I think Real Change is a beautiful beginning for the new year. Thank you so much all for being here, for your practice, for your contributions today. Know that I value and appreciate everything you are sharing and saying. So always, please feel free to come on and do so. You are important and a part of the whole, essential to that great wind. And so let's sit for a moment. May we dedicate the merits, the blessings, and the benefits of this practice today, and all practice throughout all traditions, coming from all directions, throughout all time. That's a lot of goodness. May we gather it in the heap of the present moment. Breathe it in. And as we breathe out, offering it out completely to all beings, to all things, those we like and those we don't like, those who are hungry, who are lonely, who are fearful, those who are greedy, those who are hateful, they need it most. And may we offer these blessings wholeheartedly to all beings without exception. May we all have happiness and the causes for happiness. Send those blessings out with each out breath. Breathe it in and nourish yourself with each in breath. May we all be free from suffering, from self-clinging, from greed, from hatred and delusion. May we rejoice at our good fortune, our good wealth, our own goodness, and may we offer it freely to the contribution and benefit of all beings. Use those blessings. And may we remember who we really are. You, O nobly born. You offered and gifted this precious human life. May you remember that you are an essential part and necessity to the good and to the whole. May you have a happy holiday in celebration of love, of peace, of joy, of generosity, and all goodness. I look forward to being with you on Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday. Greg will be here Thursday. May you know you are blessed. May you know you are loved. And may you be well. So be it. I'm sorry I can't wave at you all. I am bowing to each of you. I'm waving. You can't see me, but I can see you. So thank you so much, Courtney. Love to you. Love to you, Robin, Ryan, Leslie, Lisa. I see all of you here on the front screen. Ed, wonderful to see you. Marie, wonderful that you joined. Carrie, I hope you are well. in the midst of all that is happening. We are all thinking of you and sending you blessings every single day. And I hope you feel that.
I do.
Wonderful. I
Please
hope.
please keep all the nurses, doctors, housekeepers, everybody, and most importantly, the patients and the families who can't be in the hospital.
I cannot imagine this, truthfully.
It's the most difficult part of my job.
I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. I am grateful for you, Carrie, and for your being there when others, loved ones cannot be. I don't even know what it would be like to be alone and dying.
It's a very cruel practice. Let's just put it that way.
Yep, I cannot imagine.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Travis, good to see you. I think I lost Andy. Oh, Seth, there you are. I hadn't seen you earlier. Wonderful that you're here. Robin, blessings. Anthony, also good to see you. I hope you're getting a nice little break. May we all be well. Everyone enjoy your weekend before or after holiday, depending on how you are celebrating. Know that it is also holy. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever day you're doing it, please keep this in mind. Our contributions, they are holy and good. And we need you and each other in this life. Thank you all so much. Yes, Carrie is doing a very important job, as are all of you, by the way. Whatever that is, if that's feeding your cat, this is very important. Carrie's got extra training and's got extra to carry. It is her karma to do so. Yes, we are grateful for her, very much so. Love you all. I'll look forward to seeing you Monday night or Tuesday morning. Be looking for the book Real Change by Sharon Salzberg. And I will see you guys soon. Be well. Mwah. Love to you all.